Welcome to 100 Yards of Football this morning. It's my college football history special. It's the 1984 Orange Bowl. The Nebraska Cornhuskers taking on the Miami Hurricanes. If you like the video, please come in and share it. I'm your host, Vincent Turner. So let me break down this game that put the University of Miami on the map. The U, as they call it down there in South Florida. Like the video, please come in and share it. I'm going to be honest with you this morning. In the mid-'80s, the University of Miami football was not really must-see TV. I didn't even know nothing about Miami when it came to football because I went to the University of Arkansas from 78 to 82. And at that time, the Southwest Conference was thumping with Houston, Baylor, SMU. And the reason I say that, because Eric Dickerson and Craig James was running that rock with SMU. Mike Singletary with them eyes was making plays at Baylor. The Houston Cougars was running that veer under Bill Yeoman, Danny Davis, Aubrey McMullen. So I really didn't really know nothing about Miami's football team until the 1983 draft when Jim Kelly got drafted in the first round. I said, But I started to kind of follow the program because if you've been watching our videos, I'm from the 901, Memphis, Tennessee. We had a gentleman that went to middle school with my two sisters, Stephanie and Rhonda Turner. And his name was Greg Jones, and he went on to Melrose High School, and he was player of the year in 1981, and he signed with Miami. He had over 50 offers, and everybody was looking around. Why is he going to the University of Miami? Well, you know what? On that magical night, January the 2nd, Greg Jones was a backup safety with the University of Miami. And that night, Miami shocked the world because they took down one of the greatest college football teams from an offensive standpoint that I've ever seen. The backfield is legend. And they won that football game 31-30. And the thing that was so ironic in that 1983 season, ESPN had started sending with their college football coverage. And the first game they had on was Miami and the University of Florida open the season in Tampa. And Florida dominated that game 28-3. And Miami had a freshman quarterback from Youngstown, Ohio by the name of Benny Kosar. So anybody on the college football scene didn't really think that Miami was even going to be, at this point, playing at the end of the year, playing the most powerful team in college football at that time, the mighty number 1 ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers. But Miami went through that season, and they got there behind a guy named Harold Schellenberger. Okay, another thing about him in the University of Miami program, people really didn't know about him. Took over the job in 1979. And his only claim for fame was that he recruited that young man from Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania in the 60s to the University of Alabama and played for Bear Bryant because he was on the Alabama staff, and that guy name was Joe Willie Namath. And we know how his career ended up with the chinchilla coat, winning Super Bowl III, beating the Baltimore Colts. But getting back to the Miami Hurricanes that night, I was living in Dallas, Texas at the time, had moved down there from Memphis, kind of trying to find my way around. And that game was the last game of the evening. Watching it with one of my best friends who came down from Memphis with me and moved to Dallas by the name of James Smith. Right now, he has a very successful restaurant in Memphis, Tennessee. And we sitting there watching the Huskers in Miami. And the thing that stuck in my mind was, how long will it take the Nebraska to run Miami off the field? Because I just mentioned a few seconds ago, this was a very special football team in 83 from an offensive standpoint. The quarterback, Turner Gill from Fort Worth, Texas, was special, man. 1,500 yards that season passing, 14 touchdowns, 531 yards rushing. Then they had Mike Rozier from Camden, New Jersey. Had 2,100 yards that year. Had 230 yards in the first half against Kansas. averaged 7.8 yards a carry, and won the Heisman Trophy. And then they had one of the best receivers. Boy, I love seeing him play. He was a first-round pick overall in the 1984 NFL Draft, Mr. Irvin Fryer. 40 receptions that year, 780 yards, averaged almost 20 yards a catch. And that offense averaged 52 points a game. 52 points a game. And that year, they beat a Minnesota team 84-13. They beat a Colorado team that year 69-19. And they beat Iowa State 72-19. See, what I'm showing you, that Nebraska offense that year in that team was unbeatable, uncontrollable. But that night they came down to South Florida. And then nobody on this face of the earth think Miami had a chance. But looking at that crowd that night, 73,000 in the Orange Bowl, that environment was electric. Miami Vice. Can I say it again? Miami Vice. Sonny Crockett. Ricardo Tubbs. Castillo. And man, there was electric. And that Miami football team came out in the first quarter and hit Nebraska in the mouth. Got up 17-0, and Bernie Kosar was unbelievable. 18-35 that evening for 300 yards. But as we know, Nebraska came roaring back. That backfield, Turner Gill, Mike Rozier, Irvin Fryer, but they got back in the game when it was down 17-0 because they had one of the most weirdest plays in college football, the Fumblerooski. Dean Steenclemmer, their offensive guard, took it in the end zone. And that kind of changed the momentum of the game. And Nebraska got back in the game, scored another touchdown before halftime. Miami kicked the field goal, 17-14. But Miami came back roaring out in that third quarter behind a true freshman by the name of Alonzo Highsmith and a junior by the name of Albert Bentley. They scored 2 touchdowns in that in the third quarter. And all of a sudden, Miami's up 31-17. Going into the fourth quarter, we know Nebraska was going to come roaring back. Mike Rozier had a very serious ankle injury in the third quarter and had to sit out the fourth quarter. On the evening, he had 147 yards on 21 carries. And everybody was saying, even myself, I'm watching the game. I said, man, Nebraska might be in trouble. But they came roaring back. Turner Gill with his passing. Irvin Fryer with his receiving. But they had a backup tailback by the name of Jeff Smith, who came in. He had an 8-yard touchdown run to make it 31-24. Miami drove down the field eloquently with Bernie Kosar. With 1:47 to go, they had a chance to end the game, but they missed the field goal. And Nebraska got that ball back and took it down the field. And with almost under 40 seconds remaining, Jeff Smith scored on a 4th and 8th play from the Miami 24-yard line and got in the end zone. It's Miami 31, Nebraska 30. Now, keep this key point and key fact in your head. Tom Osborne, the head coach of Nebraska, all he had to do was kick the extra point. 31-31 tie. Nebraska wins the national championship. And to this day, in my years of living on this earth at 61 years old, I got so much respect for Tom Osborne because you know what he said? He said, we supposed to be the best football team in the country in 1983. And we're not going to play for a tie. We are Nebraska Cornhuskers, and we're going to go for the win. And you know what happened? He called a play. He put it in the hands of his senior quarterback from Fort Worth, Texas, Mr. Turner Gill. Mr. Gill rolled to his right, tried to hit Mr. Smith. The pass was a little bit behind him. But Kenny Calhoun got his fingertips on the ball. And man, If you was watching that game, you can go back on YouTube. The Orange Bowl exploded. I thought it was going to be an earthquake. Miami Vice was born. The Hurricane program is born. Michael Irvin, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, Philip Buchanan, Mike Rump, Vince Wilfork, the great late Sean Taylor. That evening, Miami was on the map. Jimmy Johnson, Dennis Erickson. And to that team, the Miami Hurricanes, they upset the mighty, unbeatable, uncontrollable Nebraska Cornhuskers. To Eddie Brown, to Jay Brody, to Glenn Dennison, to Alonzo Highsmith, Albert Bentley, and of course, Bernie Kosar and Harold Schellenberger. Thank you. What a football game. Miami 31, Nebraska 30. And look where we at now. It's unbelievable that how the Miami Hurricanes have really, over the years, become one of the top programs in the country. I know right now things are not going well under Manny Diaz, but let me tell you something. In my heart, and to the Miami Hurricanes faithful, y'all will get it back on track. But this evening and today, January 2nd, 1984, your football program was born because y'all beat a very, very good, explosive Nebraska football team. I'd like to thank my producer, Logan Landers, this morning for making it happen. So my final words here today on 100 Yards of Football, and to you, Logan, for your outstanding job this morning, you're making me look good, baby, is that I'm going to go back to a great British entertainer and singer. His name is Phil Collins. And he had a song that went like this. I'm coming down like a monkey, but it's all right. Like a load in my back that you can't see. Oh, but it's all right. Tonight, the Miami Hurricanes football program is born. Tonight. Thank you today for watching 100 Yards of Football. If you like the video, please comment and share it. I'm your host, Vincent Turner. And one more time, thank you to my producer, Mr. Logan Landers. Blessings. Y'all be blessed and watch some college football this weekend.